Hey guys! Today I want to discuss whether Commander Legends number 2 D&D Baldur's Gate was a flop or not. Yeah, pretty much it was a flop, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many out there in the community. So, yeah, well, that's wrap it up, guys. Roll the credits. We'll see you in the next one. By the way, be sure to comment. I'll be sure to respond down there in the comments. Really love interacting with you guys, talking about it. Yeah, I'm just kidding. All right. Yes, definitely it was a flop. We're going to discuss a bit more of that as we keep going along here. But let's get into the conversation. But just before we get into the video for today, if you are enjoying the content that I'm putting out there, please do consider subscribing, turning on that notifications. It really helps us out. But with that being said, let's get right on into the video for today. All right, so if you're here for the conversation, and I know some people aren't, that's fine. You're here. I appreciate you guys who actually stick around and listen to what I have to say and whatnot. Because, hey, I think this is, something important to sort of say and discuss and whatnot. About sets like this. This is it's essentially a master's set with new cards. That's what I think of these, specialty made sets for Commander and for Modern and for whatever format they are catering towards besides Standard, essentially. Like, that's what they've started to do. The reprints for this set were not terrible, but just subpar. And I can't, you can always make that argument, and I've heard this argument from a lot of people saying, well, it doesn't fit with the, theme of the set or whatever, and that sort of thing. So we can't put something that is from a specific plane or whatever into a set like this because it's meant to be on the D&D plane. So you can't put these things that are, supposed to be from magic planes like Dominaria or whatever, Mirrodin or whatever, all this other stuff into a set like this. And I think that, that's a little bit of backwards thinking to a degree, but I understand what they mean by saying that. And I know a lot of people will agree that the set flavor and whatnot should be kept to a certain extent, but you also need decently good reprints in the set. Now, not to say that there weren't any decent reprints in the set, but just not nearly enough, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of other people that have sort of gotten into this set. Now, the number of more powerful, more expensive other cards that are also in this set is new cards. I'm more talking about here is very low. Besides the new dragons, there's not a whole lot in this set. Even the reprints of the dual lands aren't cracking over the price of a pack anymore. So, and since there's so few of those dragons because they're mythics, you're very unlikely with this set to crack packs and a box to get the values worth of said packs, said box, whatever, in what you open. So, I've said that buy singles for a long time, and I think I need to say it a bit more here and there sometimes. But I do say that, I say that to myself as well a lot of times. But I have a pack opening addiction, as a lot of people do, and I do tend to open packs. Double Masters is coming out very soon, and I do feel like they shipped a lot of the reprints that they could have put into Commander Legends 2 into that, so they kind of split their, audience to a degree. I don't know. I get that there's a lot of cards in there for Modern and for this and for that and whatnot and all of that sort of stuff as well. Some of these cards are multi-purpose because they are legal in Legacy and Vintage and whatnot. But we know that Legacy and Vintage and all of those sort of formats are being played less and less and less in paper because there's just so little support for them, and the reprints for those sets are extremely limited because, again, the reserve list, most of the cards that are in that, pool of cards that they really need are almost all on the reserve list. Now, not to say that all of them, but the most important ones are the Dual Lands, Black Lotus, etc., the Moxen, Time Walk, etc., all the other stuff. So it like that will never probably be sorted. I've already said my opinions on it. I think it's a bit dumb. I'm just going to reiterate that they don't take advantage of reprinting it. I know that there might be some legal issues from people saying, well, you've devalued cards and whatnot and all of that sort of stuff, but I don't agree with that actually at all, because I don't think that's actually very true at all. Again, because, hey, an Alpha Black Lotus is still an Alpha Black Lotus or whatever. An Alpha, Tiger is still an Alpha Tiger, whatever. You're not going to find another Alpha Tiger, or whatever, an Alpha Black Lotus or whatever. There's only so many of them out there in existence. There's only so many more boxes of Alpha, Beta, whatever else out there in the wild that haven't been opened and whatnot. Again, so it's just one of those things where the sets and everything that they actually printed and the number of cards that are actually available is limited to that number. There's never going to be more Alpha, Beta, Revised, etc. of those specific cards. So they should hold their price specifically and whatnot. And again, Wizards can't make money on those cards unless they actually actively reprint them. So it would actually make more sense for them to reprint them because they can actually earn some money on them rather than sitting around going, well, this is what it is. It is what it is. We made that promise and now we've got to move on. I get why they did it, and I get that people felt like, well, the game needs to be a collectible card game because, hey, if I'm investing my money in cards that are going to be reprinted every 5 seconds and my cards aren't going to be worth anything, then why am I getting into this card game? I get that and whatnot, and I get that that's still some people's mentality to say, well, you shouldn't reprint cards to a finite level. But I say that that's kind of the difficulty, and I always say this as well, that you've got to have that good balance where, yes, you have these valuable cards that people want to pick up because, hey, I want to know that my cards are worth something. Hey, if I trade in my whole deck and I get 50 cents for my whole deck, 100 cards or whatever it is, or 60 cards or whatever you're doing, plus your sideboard or whatever it is, again, whatever you're doing, I want to know I'm going to get a whole bunch of money, not 50 cents for my whole deck, and then be like, wow, well, what was the point in me buying all these cards for, $10, $15, $20 or whatever it was, and now I only get 50 cents worth of value back out of it. What? I'm over-exaggerating that very much so, but again, you know what I mean. If I get a very low return on what I'm actually, buying, it's like, well, what was the point in me buying this? And that's what I'm saying with, the new set here. It's one of those sets. I will not buy basically any more of it, and I would advise anyone who is looking at buying this set to not buy any of this set because it's not worth it. If you want to draft it, yeah, sure, you can go ahead and draft it if you really want to. That's okay because at least, you can, force drafts and force the things that you kind of want to draft into to a degree and just be like, okay, cool, I'm going to draft into whatever I want and just draft this thing because, hey, well, I want that for this deck or I want it for that deck or it's a, expensive card or whatever and that sort of thing. But beyond that, like you have to work with what you're given to a degree, and you're often just given a whole bunch of commons and uncommons beyond like your first couple of picks. So after that, you don't get a whole lot of value. So the values in those first few packs, really, or first few picks in the pack, really. So yeah, it's one of those things that it is very difficult, to get value out of this set. And I would say again that people shouldn't really buy into the set to just crack boxes. Like Commander Legends One, even though like there's a few cards that got banned. I think it's actually one card now, isn't it? Or is it maybe more cards? Because I can't remember if any more cards got banned. Maybe only one card in Hull Breacher got banned. I can't really remember. But anyway, in terms of value, like that set is very good, even though it has a lot of sort of similar cards in the dual lands. But beyond that, and you think to yourself, well, it does have a lot of duds, just as this set does, Baldur's Gate, but also it actually has some, at least mediumly good cards, like, Kodama of the East Tree and things like that. So, and there are a lot of other cards that are at least mediumly good, or Opposition Agent, cards like that, etc. I know I just went to two black cards, but whatever. That's fine. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, like at least there are a few other cards that are in. Oh no, I didn't actually. Whatever. But at least there are 2 or 3 cards that are in that set that are at least worth something beyond like a few, handful of mythics or whatnot and things like that. In this set, there's just not that. There's not a whole lot of other cards that you can point to and say, well, that's actually worth something. There's a whole bunch of cards that are basically 50 cents or less, or maybe $1 or less. And then there's a few cards that are over $15, and that's basically it. And then there's a few, couple of cards that maybe are worth a couple dollars, and that's it. Like, there's just nothing else between these, cards that are worth $15 and a few cards that are maybe worth $1 or so. It's really, really poor for the EV of the set. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this set. I am not very hyped personally for Commander Legends. About to say Commander Legends, but everyone's calling it Commander Masters and whatnot. Anyway, again, any set that is a reprint set now is Commander focused. Of course, it is because no one else plays any other format. Basically, so well, there you go. Anyway. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm not going to put out anything about that, really. I'm just going to say that here and there and whatever again. But whatever. People can think what they want to think. But, again, if people actually want, standard, modern, legacy, whatever else to fire locally or wherever you are, you need to commit. And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people can't commit. And I get that. But that's your problem, is that you can't commit. If you can't commit, then you can't say, well, it's not. Why can't we get anything? Well, you can't get anything because you can't commit. And you can't commit like the players who actually play, which is all the casual players, which is basically all the Commander players. So, again, if you're looking at sets like this and going, oh, it's just all Commander cards, well, those are the only people that commit enough and play enough to actually get, a whole lot of decent reprints. But again, a lot of cards that are just generically good are Commander cards anyway. So it's just one of those things where people just, again, I don't get it. You're just focusing in on the wrong thing. Like, of course it's a Commander set, in a sense. I'm not going to say that it's not, because in a sense it is, because of course it is, again. But, again, if you, again, want to play those other formats, you need to put that group together and be like, hey, right, we're going to play every week. and we're going to spend money every week, and we're going to get the cards we need every week, and whatnot. That's what you need to do. That's what Commander players do. They go, through and go, okay, how much do I have budget, etc. and whatnot. Again, on this next set that's coming out, I was looking at it and going, I'm not sure what else they're going to put in. I'm not sure, again, whatever's going to be in there. Am I hyped for any of the cards? Do I need any of the cards? Maybe I might need some of the cards. I'd like some of the full arts and whatnot, or the alt arts, or whatever they have of some of the cards. But beyond that, there's probably, 3 cards maybe that I'm interested in. I don't know. Maybe there'll be more cards when the set's fully revealed. I want to talk about it a little bit when it is fully revealed and discuss it with you guys. But I also want to know what you guys kind of want to see from this set and want to see me talk about this new set of Double Masters and whatnot. So yeah, but so far, I'm not very hyped. I think I'm not going to buy a whole lot of this, if any. I don't know, because it's not like there's no value in the set. There certainly is, but there's a lot of dud cards in this set as well, in Double Masters, that is. So I'm not sure whether I want to invest in buying a box. I don't really want to buy boxes that much anymore either. It's just one of those things that I've sort of kind of given up on to a degree, or started to want to give up on to a degree, because a lot of the time I never make the value of the box back. And, it is what it is. I just do it for the content and do it for you guys. I just so happen to want to open every set almost anyway, for the most part, or I have done, because I've wanted to get at least a few of the new cards into my collection, or not. If not that, at least get some of the value back from the box and be like, oh, okay, cool. Well, at least I can get the cards maybe that I really did want from the cards that I opened, so it wasn't a complete wash of a failure to open that box. Maybe spent too much on it or whatever, but it was a fun experience and you guys got to see it or whatnot. But I don't know whether that's worth it. I'd love it if, people would donate or whatever, or support on Patreon or whatever else to help us out to fund, opening more boxes here on the show or on the channel. But hey, I never say people are obligated to do anything, but I do wish that people would. But, hey, it is what it is. And that's the same with subscribing. I know 90% of the people that are watching, or whatever, basically 90% of the people that are watching are not subscribed. But, hey, if they don't want to subscribe, they don't have to subscribe. I watch a lot of YouTube and don't subscribe to some of the channels that I watch fairly regularly. It is what it is. Especially to content creators that have a lot of subs already, I'm just like, well, I don't really care that much. To smaller ones, yeah, I might subscribe, but to certain ones I will subscribe, but to certain other ones I just don't. But yeah, that, it is all what it is. That is human nature. I get it. It's one of those things. But guys, that is really it for this one, I think. So I want to get on out of here. I think we've been talking long enough. You get the picture, I think. And we've talked a bit about Double Masters as well. As I said, want to talk about it when the set is fully spoiled and whatnot, which won't be too long from now, I don't think, especially when this video does go live. But I want to know what you guys have to say or have to think about Double Masters as well, or what you guys want to see from me as a content creator here on YouTube, and doing content about EDH here on YouTube. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that down below, as well as your thoughts on Commander Legends 2, Electric Boogaloo, and whatnot. Down there in the comments below, do you really think it was a flop, or do you think it was pretty decent, or what? Do you disagree with me, or do you really agree with me? Let me know all your thoughts down there in those comments. I'll read and respond to any and all comments, as many as I can, because I love interacting with you guys and talking about EDH and all the geeky things that we love in this format. But if I don't see you down there in those comments, I'll see you in the next one.